So I'll just keep getting ready while I'm waiting for a few people to get here. I've got a really exciting, well, let you look down here a little bit so you can see something besides my cameo. This is kind of what we're going to be doing today, something like this. And it's perfect for homeschoolers to make, for homeschool parents to make for their kids. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. This is what it looks like when it's on the cardstock ready to be printed, and this is after it's printed. And I mentioned earlier that, let's see, well, let me go back to this. By the way, the jacket I have on, I wish you could see the back of it because it has a really cute design on it. It's a design that I made for Auntie Tay's channel. Let's see if I can get here. And I'll show you what it looks like. Oh, if I can get it off. This is what the back of it looks like, and it's got a dream catcher on the back. This is one of those ones that's reflective. So if I were out at night, or a kid was, and a headlight shone on them, it would show up really, really well. So. Okay, so we have a couple people here now. There are a few people. Hey, Colleen, yay, you found me. Thank you. Max Nana. Hey, good. I'm so glad a few people are here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my silhouette screen right now. For those of you who have let me see. For those of you who just have a Cricut machine, not to worry, because even though I said this is for silhouette, I will have a free file for you to make this with. And it's really super cute and really easy. And I'm going to use a product that I've never used before today. So let me look back here one last time to see if anybody is here. Oh, your name is Hey, Carmen. Okay. Hi, Jennifer. All right, sometimes I have to jump back into my regular screen over here to see what's happening. So let's see. So there's a few people. Great. All right. Okay. So here we are in Silhouette. I think, let me go to my Silhouette screen here. Here we go in Silhouette. And most of you don't have the CAMEO machine, although I think I'm going to do a big giveaway of a CAMEO once I get to 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I'm getting really close. So keep that in mind. If you know of anybody that be interested in joining us, encourage them to join, because once I get to 20,000, I'm going to have a giveaway. But here's what we're going to work on today. And I thought it was super cute. It's a free SVG that comes like, let me show you again. Let's show you down here again. Comes like this. And what I think is cute about it is I've made it into a card. And when you open the card, it has some little feathers inside. But in addition to that, I've used this new product, and I probably made it a little bit too big, but this was my first one that I've tried. And the product that I'm using is this one here that's called Scratch Off Sticker Sheets. And why I think this is so cool is because if you give this to a little kid, and they're going to get the Peacock reference, if you stay tuned to the end, I'm going to read a story aloud that maybe if you have little kids around the house, they might like to listen to. But the Peacock, well, you'll have to stay tuned and listen to see why the Peacock is important. But here's the Peacock. And then there's this little heart inside here that's supposed to be one of those little scratch off things. So if you scratch it off, you'll see the message underneath. And I think these would be really a lot of fun to use even at Christmas time to make some little scratch off things for your kids. And when I scratch this one all the way off, it just says, "Thank you for being a helper." You can see that. Thank you for being a helper. So if I was to give this to a little kid, they'll kind of get the Peacock reference because they'll know the story. And then when they see that it says, "Thank you for being a helper," they'll additionally know what that means because of the story. And I think it's really a super story, especially in this day and age. So like I said, what you'll get is you'll get an SVG for the Peacock. It'll be up to you now to make the feathers, although we may be able to get you some feather SVGs as well. These that I used came from the Silhouette store. So those of you who use Silhouette or the CAMEO, you'll have to purchase the feather, and I've just resized it in the store to use it for this. So after this is a print and cut, and you can do print and cut, as you know, just as easily with your Cricut machine. These are the registration marks here that we have in Silhouette as opposed to the full ones that you have for the Cricut, but it works the same way. So what's going to happen is it's going to cut around each one of these feathers. It's going to cut around the Peacock, and you're going to end up with a sheet like this. This is on my CAMEO mat. So you'll get a bunch of little feathers. And what I think is super about having these feathers, well, several things. If you have little kids and you are homeschooling, you could let them cut these or count them. Not cut, color or count. Or whenever you catch them in the act of being a helper, as they're going to learn about in the story, you can give them a feather and they can just add to the little feather collection, and you can make, of course, more and more of these. Another thing that you could do with the feathers, if you have little kids, they could just be a counting activity. They could count them. Or they can match up the same sizes and just put together the same sizes of feathers and maybe make them from small to large, something like that. So those are just a couple little activities. In addition, in the book, you're going to hear that different birds are being helpers in different ways to the peacock. And they give their feathers to the peacock. And different birds give different colors of feathers. So you could have the children listen to that as you read it aloud if you purchase the book, or if you listen to me read it, or get it at the library. And you could have the kids color the feathers to match the colors of the feathers in the book. I just think this is fun. I don't know. I was just having fun coming up with some activities that we could do with little kids that have a good message, and they're a lot of fun, cute things to do. So let's look again up at Silhouette, and I'll show you how to make this thing. So here we are at Silhouette, and the first thing that I did was I went ahead and got the free SVG. Let me ungroup this, and I'll show you the free SVG that we have right now on our site. I didn't ungroup and move him far enough away. Let's move all that stuff over there. So here's the peacock that you can get for free on the website, and I will go to the website to show you. All right, so here we are. Okay, when you go to PattyAnne'sPlace.blog or .com, should take you there as well. All you have to do is go to the library of free files. Now, if you've joined the newsletter or any of the classes that I have through my website, you will know the password. So all you have to do when you get to this area, see it says it's password protected or protected area. Right here you just type in the password and you'll be taken to the page with all the free files that we have so far. So notice you may recognize some of these. There's the places you'll go. Remember that one? Oops, I clicked on it, which started it downloading automatically. There's the Mickey Mouse one, or Minnie, that was so cute, and the skeletons, Mr. and Mrs. Cranium. So anyway, these are the ones that we've done so far, and I think there's a lot of super cute ones there. But the one you'll want today is the one called Feathers for Peacock. So I would simply click on that to get it. And since I use Chrome, it automatically starts downloading right here in the lower left-hand corner. So I would click on that to open it. And notice since there's this zipper over here, it's a zipped file. So I would go extract all up here in the upper and the top. And then I always let it go extract to wherever it wants to put it. And that is in my downloads folder. And I'd say extract. And here they are. And if I come up here to view and say large icons, I can see what's in here. I have an SVG file. I have an image so I know what it is. And I have this thank you for downloading. Usually I have you open that first because that has helpful information for using the files. This time there's really not that information that you need to know for Cricut or Silhouette. But I do have the link to the book if you're interested in getting that. So let me X that out. So what you'll do then is just go ahead and double click on the SVG if you're working in Silhouette. And here it is. It comes in just like this. So I want to show you how we get from this to that, to this little card. Okay, that's opens up in the center. And I have something printed on the inside as well as the feathers. So here's what I did. The first thing that I do, and let me get back over there, is, and for 1 second, let me check up here and make sure that Tammy's not telling me that y'all need something. Okay, everything looks good. And check over here. Hello there. Hey Tina, I'm just checking you guys. Oh, hey, I can do both of these. No, I can't either. I'm sorry. So I can just check this every once in a while. Hey Tammy. Okay. Okay, let me go back to Silhouette. So here we are in Silhouette again, and as I said, this file will work for you people who have strictly Cricut machines, no problem. What we're going to do is we're going to right click and say ungroup. And those of you who don't have a Silhouette machine, you're going to see how easy it is to make things for your Cricut, or who don't have the Silhouette software. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag out this little piece right here, the back, right there. And I'm going to make a duplicate of it by holding down the Alt on my keyboard. Notice that turns my little mouse, my hand, into a little plus sign. Hold down the Alt and drag another one away, and that makes a duplicate. So then I'm just going to put this one back in here where it belongs for now. And I'll just group that back together and move it off to the side. So we're going to work with this now. And let's see what's going on here. Changing the look. Okay, so here we have what I just made, and what I want to do is I want to duplicate that because I want to have it flip over to the left so that it will make the other side of the card. So it's really easy to do that, to duplicate it and flip it at the same time in Silhouette. You just have to go over here, way over here to the right. You can see that it turns blue over here where I am, a bluish color. That's the replicate panel. I'm going to click on the replicate panel, and it looks a little bit confusing, but it's really not. If you look down here, it says mirror right here, and I can mirror below, and if I do that, watch what happens. Whoops, I've got to highlight it first. Then I mirror below, and it mirrors one exactly below it. But that's not what I want, so I'm going to hit Control Z on my keyboard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror it to the left, like that. And that's perfect. Excuse me, that makes both sides of my card. Now, of course, the only thing I need to do is smush them together a little bit in the center because I want them to overlap so that I can weld them. So I'm just going to click on the one to the left. It doesn't matter which one you click on. And just use the arrow key on my keyboard, and you see it moving over ever so slightly. Once I think I have it over enough, I'm just going to grab both of these shapes now and right click, and look at all these options we get here, but I'm going to weld. So you know what that does, that makes that into one piece. And of course, I could put a dash line in here or a score line, but it's awfully easy to know where to fold this without messing with that. So I'm not going to bother with that right now. All right, so that's what I've done for that. Now let's see. That was the card part. Now, the other thing that I did, how did I do this? Oh, I needed to resize this, you guys, because this is too big for a print then cut right now. If I wanted this whole thing to print then cut, which I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy right over here so he's in the same mess as them. And I'm going to grab all of this together. And I'm going to resize everything at the same time. If you'll notice right down here underneath the shapes, it tells that the width is 14.393. I can't have anything that big for print then cut. So I need to resize it so that it gets down to what we can print then cut. And that would be, well, that would be 9. Did I do it this small? I must have 9.2. You know, I didn't really make it this small for my silhouette, and I'll show you why. Let me move this over. If we come over here to the page setup on silhouette, and we come to the third little button over here, okay, this gives us registration marks for print then cut with our silhouette. So I need to change the style of those registration marks depending on which machine I have, and I have a CAMEO, so I would change it to number 1. And now I can bring this over here and I can see just how much space I actually have for this print then cut. So it looks like, look at that, I can stretch it quite a bit longer than that so that it still fits within these lines that I have that are print then cut. So I can make it actually a little bit bigger than what I would be able to make it if I was using strictly my Cricut. All right, so there we have it, and let's move him back out of the way and bring this back over. And I'm going to hold down my Shift key and rotate this. I hold down my Shift key because you can probably see how that kind of jumps into place when it's exactly horizontal. So I want it like that. So I'm going to do this now. I'm going to go ahead and click on it because I don't want it black. I want to have it, let's see, what do I do? How did I do that? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to white, but not really white because y'all won't be able to see it very well. I'm going to change it to a light gray so you can see it. All right, so let's pretend like this is the front of the card and it's going to fold over this part of the card. So since this is the inner part of my card, this is where I'm going to have it, my machine print something or write something. So what I did was I had it say, "Thank you for being a helper." So I just came over here, way over here to the left, and got the text tool. And then I typed in thank you for being a helper. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Mr. Rogers, but do you remember him saying something about that when there was all kind of things that were scary to little kids going on in the world? And he said, what you have to do, even though there's all that evil in the world, always look for the helper. There are always people helping. So remember that, even though there might be some evil, there are helpers. I'll get off my soapbox. Anyway, so I would probably go ahead and change this to black. And I would probably go ahead and change the font as well. And the reason why I changed the font was because I wanted to have it something that little kids would recognize. Like, they may recognize this A, but back in the day when I was learning, we didn't make A's like that when I was in elementary school. So I know that Comic Sans, which is on my computer, has the A, the way kids learn to make them. So I'm going to come over to the text style panel on the right hand side, and I'm going to go down. Well, actually, since I've used it recently, it's probably in my recently used, and for some reason it's not. So probably because I restarted my computer. So let's look for Comic Sans right here, and I'm going to click on that. So notice that what it did to the A, and that's perfect. That looks much more like a first grader's handwriting or a second grader's handwriting. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it much smaller because I want it to fit on here. Like that. And that's perfect. Now you'll notice, those of you who don't have a Cameo, that there's some red lines around that. That's just kind of showing you where the cut lines will be. Those won't show up in your final project. But if ever they do bother you, like you can see that little bit of red and you don't like the look of it, you can highlight this and come up here to where the color swatch is up in the upper left-hand corner. Click on the drop-down menu and just change that to either black or whatever color you're using for your font, or make it transparent with the grid marks, like that. Okay, let's zoom back out a little bit. So thank you for being a helper. And as I said, I made it small enough to fit under the little heart that I made, because I made the heart out of that material that's the scratch off stuff. So let me refresh your memory down here. So here's what our card looks like so far. And then I had some little feathers here. I made my heart a little bit too big because it goes over the feathers, but this was just my trial. So I could make the heart a little bit smaller now if I wanted to. But the heart won't be something that I'm going to print. It's going to be something that I'm going to cut. So not to worry about it now, although I probably want to make it right now. And I'll do that. So I come over here to the Flexi Shapes and get a heart. And I've got that heart made, and I can color it in if I want to so you can see it more easily. I'll make it pink, my favorite. And of course it's in front of the text, but that's okay. I could make it transparent if I wanted to, so I can make sure the text fits under there well. And the way we make it transparent is just by going up here to this little paint palette up in the upper right hand corner and click that. And if you look down here, you'll notice there's the word transparency and there's a slider. And if you slide that back and forth, look what it does to how transparent or opaque the painting is. So I can leave it like that so we can see that indeed the words fit in there perfectly. All right. But for now, what I'm going to do is just move that heart right off of there and pull back out a little bit. It looks just like this. Okay, so you see, thank you for being a helper. And there are the feathers that I put on, which I can show you how to do that if you need. And then here are the registration marks. And of course, you're probably wondering, well, what in the world is going to cut out? And the only reason why we don't know is because it's white and we can't tell. But I know what's going to cut out because of the way I designed it. So let's go to send. And look, we can tell here what's going to cut. If we look up here. Oh, we got an issue though, because look at this. I left that text in there, so it thinks it's supposed to be cutting that out as well. If you look over here, I want to change mine first of all to the ratchet blade. But if you look over here, right now it's set to cut everything, inside and outside. I want to highlight this and just change it to cut edge. Look what happened. So when it was going to cut everything, look what it was going to do to that text. It was just going to destroy it. But what I wanted to do is I just wanted to cut the edge. So again, when you're looking down here, I don't want it to cut out this text at all. I just wanted to cut the edge of my card. And that's what I've gotten it to do up here. It's just cutting the edge of my card. So let's go. The only thing I'm worried about now is that, here's the thing. Since I moved this so much, it's not going to cut properly because you have to print it and then put it on your mat exactly the same way. You can't change things around like what I've done right here. Okay, so I think what I'm going to need to do, let's see, I might have this on another one. Yeah, maybe this will work. Let's see. If I undo this, I'm going to try to get back to where the, well, you know what I think I better do? I better just go ahead and print and cut a new one out. So I've got this. I better make it a color I can see so I can get the text in the right place again. Move the text. That looks good. Right there. So the last thing I needed to show you though was this part right here. And we were just working on this. So what you would do is go ahead and get rid of these, move them over, bring this back over here, and you would send this to your printer first. And I would go to File, Print, and what I always do is save my, or change my preferences to best, because I want this to be the best quality that it could be. So like, look at my Peacock here. That's pretty good quality of a print right there. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And of course, you know what? If you prefer, you could make this out of vinyl and put it on something for a child or yourself even. I was thinking, actually I'm changing the subject right quick, but remember when I made this bag yesterday, I was thinking, wouldn't this be cute on the back of that bag? I think that'd be super duper cute. Anyway, all right, so here we go. I would do the best and I would print it. And then I would put it on my mat. Here's my mat. Put it on my mat, either my Cricut mat or my Silhouette mat, doesn't matter, it will work on either. Make sure that you put it on here oriented the same way it is on your virtual mat on your computer. And then just send this through your cutter. And your cutter's going to read these registration lines or marks, which you have on either machine. And then it's going to go ahead and cut out the card. Just like that. So I hope that this helps and makes some sense. I just really think it's a cute activity, especially if you listen to the book that I'm going to have play at the very end of this. The name of the story is Feathers for Peacock by Jacqueline Jules, illustrated by Helen Kahn. Long ago, when the world was new, Peacock did not have the beautiful feathers he has now. Peacock was naked. In the winter he shivered and he sniffled. He was so cold, he crawled into a cave and hid under a pile of leaves to keep warm. All his friends went underground too. All birds were naked back then. "It's not fair," Eagle grumbled. "Foxes have fur. Turtles have shells. Birds need warm coats too." "This is true," Hawk agreed. "But what can we do?" "I have heard," Eagle said, "that the full moon is very wise. Let's ask her advice." "But we must wait till spring," Hawk said, "when the snow melts and we can go outside." Slowly the winter months passed. The air warmed and the flowers pushed up from the earth. Eagle and Hawk walked from one cave to another. "Come to a meeting at the full moon," they called. Birds with small beaks told birds with long beaks, and plump birds told skinny birds, and short birds told tall birds, until everyone knew to come, except Peacock. He was buried under a pile of leaves, sound asleep. On the night of the meeting, birds of every shape and size gazed up at the sky with hopeful eyes. The moon looked down and gasped, "Oh dear, you're naked!" And cold they cried, I will help you, the moon promised. Tomorrow at dawn, when the sun and I share the sky, rub against the plants and flowers. You will be clothed. The birds waited, huddled together until the first rays of light. Parrot hopped over to a tulip. Flamingo lifted her long neck into the cherry blossoms. Duck was so excited that he rubbed his head in the grass and his body against a tree. Instantly, the birds had new feathery coats, the same colors as the plants they had chosen. "Let's have a party!" Owl hooted, showing off new brown feathers. "Absolutely!" Raven flapped his shiny black wings. The birds celebrated the whole day. They danced, they sang, they played the drums. The music echoed all the way to the cave where Peacock was still sleeping under a pile of leaves. Hearing the music, he finally woke up and hurried to the party. There he saw his friends covered in warm, colorful feathers. Tears dripped down Peacock's face as the sun went down and the moon rose. Turkey noticed first. "Look at Peacock, he's still naked." The birds stared at Peacock, trembling in the chilly spring night. "He missed his chance," Swan sighed. "The moon told us to rub against the plants at dawn." "He could try it anyway," Hummingbird suggested. Peacock hugged a bush. Nothing happened. He was as naked as ever. "We can't leave him like that," Robin said. "No, we can't," Blue Jay agreed, and she pulled a bright blue feather from her own body and offered it to Peacock. Parrot followed with a green feather. Canary held out a yellow feather. Each feather stuck to Peacock's body in a jumble. He had a big coat, but not a pretty one. "What a mess!" a voice echoed from above. It was Moon shining over the birds in a blue haze. "Sorry," the bird said. "We tried to help Peacock." "Let me finish this job," the moon laughed. And moonbeams swirled down and around Peacock in a magical, mysterious light. "Now spread your tail," the moon told Peacock. All his friends stared in silent amazement. The jumbled feathers on Peacock's body had become a clear, colorful pattern. And to this day, Peacock displays his feathers in a giant fan, showing everyone how beautiful kindness can be. The end. So I welcome you to purchase this book either online, and I'll have a link below, or at your local bookstore. It's just a beautiful story that you may like to read again and again. And additionally, at the very end of the book, there are some super fun facts about peacocks, as well as about how this story was written and where the author got her idea for it.